Can you say I like cops without your lips touching?
I like cock.
Awesome. Happy New Year, everybody.
Happy New Year, guys.
Welcome to another episode of Breaking Down the Tape, now brought to you by Dark Arrow Podcast. So I'm Zach. This is Hector.
What's up?
So now I suppose we'll actually introduce ourselves to the fans since we're official now.
Yeah, we did like 50-something episodes and no one even knew who was talking.
Some bald guy, which I guess you can't tell through my voice. But so anyway, like I said, we're now brought to you by Dark Arrow. We've been picked up by a producer. We're super happy to announce that. We've got a nice little setup. Pay attention to our Instagram and Facebook pages to see the new man cave and the new studio that we got working at Hector's Casa.
Yeah.
So yeah, like always, like, follow, share. Breaking Down the Tape is on Instagram, Facebook. I'm getting back on Twitter. I know I've sucked at that.
We got so many other social media platforms.
Yep, going to be making TikToks. I'm going to force Hector. Yep. Yeah, definitely go on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all of that, wherever you get your podcast. Share us, follow us, rate us if you can. Also, Breaking Down the Tape at yahoo.com. Please feel free. Reach out to us there. You're always more than welcome to comment on the socials. But if you want to keep your input anonymous, whatever you have to say anonymous, or whatever the deal may be, just reach out to us there. So also want to give a quick little shout out to On the Job. It is a podcast also under Dark Arrow. A couple of firefighters, which, as somebody formerly in the EMS field, they get all the glory while we do all the hard work. But no, a bunch of great guys, led by Antonio.
And his crew,
yeah. Talking about a whole lot of things. They do a lot of interviews.
They got a couple big names and episodes already out. Look them up, hear them. They got some good guys. I know they did I watched and listened in on their TikToker. They had like a TikTok on there. Sydney Lint.
Yeah. We're definitely going to be bigger than her, competition.
Not as sexy.
No, not nearly as much. Because now if this video does making it onto YouTube, boy, are you guys going to be disappointed.
Semper Fi, though.
Yeah, with my Pinkie Pie. Oh, no, that's Rainbow Dash, because I have a little 5-year-old girl at home, so I wear My Little Pony shirts now.
And I'm just always Marine Corps decked out.
Whatever. So, kind of like always, we're not really switching up the structure of the show too much, so we'll go right into Around the World of Sports, then we'll talk about Around the World of the NFL. We've got some great topics now that Week 17 has concluded.
Yeah, it's over, and then the playoffs are seeding is solidified.
Yep. So it's kind of a bittersweet moment. Super happy to get to the playoffs, although the Jets haven't.
But it's getting closer to the end.
We only have a couple more weeks.
But this is the best part. This is the best time. This is where the best of the best go out and play their best.
Yeah.
Their worst.
It's a whole new season.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got teams, that are technically less than 500 in a team, less than 500 in the playoffs, and who knows, they could win it all.
You know what?
But
let's not talk about that.
So we'll be talking about playoff matchups and predictions. We'll be going through the year's awards, so MVP, Coach of the Year, stuff like that. And then one thing that if you guys watched football Sunday night,
the Eagles,
bro, we've got to talk about it. You can't end the season. I know this has been a weird season. I know a lot of things have happened. I know COVID has been a weird thing, but to end it like that, we're not going to get too much into it, so you'll just have to stay tuned to hear how we really feel about it. So honestly, look, dude, let's just roll right into it. Talk to me about Around the World of Sports.
So Around the World of Sports, we got a few things going on. On the MLB side, ex-Yankee Phil Hughes announced his retirement today. A little weird because it's 2 years after he actually threw his last pitch.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw that. Not that it's like hyper uncommon, But I just feel like that's a weird headline to see all the same.
Yeah, I mean, you see guys do that kind of in, like, football. You know, they
Sure.
wait a couple years.
Thought
and then-
Antonio
and then,
Brown was going to
you
do
know,
it for sure.
But he retired 34 years old. He was a world champ with the Yankees in 2009. He was supposed to be, like, their ace to be, and it just never really panned out. He was
Right.
just an okay, solid pitcher.
Right.
Finished up
Series?
his yeah, he's a World Series champ. You can't knock
Can't
the kid.
sleep on it, yeah.
And then he went on to play for like Minnesota and San Diego for a few years. So
Right.
good on him, and enjoy your retirement. You don't have to do a goddamn thing. You
Oh,
made your
set.
M's.
Set.
So other than that, the Padres, you mentioned a few episodes ago that they could be the favorite to win the chip, and
First of all, you're welcome for having such great foresight. Secondly, holy shit.
little do you know, they are now third behind the Dodgers and Yankees to
Which
win
is,
the chip.
That's absurd because they should be first.
They
far
have
and away.
built a bomb squad
There's no point.
with Machado and Tatis Jr. And now their starting lineup, I think, is
Snell.
projected as the number one pitching rotation. They have Blake Snell. They just picked up Yu Darvish. You mentioned earlier they're going for this Japanese ace over in their league.
Yeah, I honestly, to tell you the truth, as much as I want baseball and sports to go back to normal, just don't even play the fucking season.
That team,
There's no point. Just make the Padres World Series rings. Make the World Series trophy with the Padres
I
name on
wouldn't
it.
go that
Ship
far
it on
yet.
out there. I'm there.
I wouldn't
I'm
go
living
that
there.
far yet because the Dodgers.
Padres go undefeated.
Because the whoa,
I'm just kidding. Now I have somebody to point to. I'm
right?
just kidding.
162-0.
Right. Jesus.
The Dodgers still have something to say about that, and the Yankees always will have something to say about
Sure,
that.
sure.
Because the Yankees, no matter what happens during the season, they
Yeah,
will
they're still
make the
the
playoffs,
Yankees.
and in the playoffs, they're a whole different beast.
Yeah, they're still the Yankees, but
Yeah.
it's just so hard to look at the Padres
They're-
and not say something ridiculous like they're gonna go undefeated.
No, yeah, they're
I mean-
so young, so stacked, so hungry.
The only way a team is gonna beat them is by slipping like melatonin in their Gatorade. Like, how do you beat them at night with a stick? That's how. Okay,
For real, they're coming for the whole league now. They want it.
Yeah, no, it's Jesus.
Going on to the NBA, no cases of COVID.
Yeah, man. Yeah, and they're not in bubbles. They're doing their travel thing now.
No
It is-
fans.
right? It is strict.
No fans.
You know, there's a lot of strict rules. So
But
let me.
Adam Silver has the fucking he has the mental capacity to do things like this.
Right. And he has the support of the league. Now, we've said it before, and I'll say it again, that comparing the NBA and the NFL is super dangerous because of the size of what we're doing here,
Yes.
right? There are, like, 30 times more people involved in a game in the NFL than there is in the NBA. But that's not to say that something similar can't be done. Now, the NFL has done good because we've made it 17 weeks. We've had
With
our
some
season.
hiccups,
Some
but-
hiccups, right. But to your point, Adam Silver has really
He buckled it. Yo, he figured it out.
Yeah.
He probably has the cure for COVID.
that is a hot take.
Adam Silver, if you hear this,
We love your bald shiny head.
For real, I hope you are immortal.
Yeah. Yes.
Because I don't want another commish for the NBA.
Is it legal? Is it like against antitrust laws for a commissioner to be the commissioner of multiple leagues?
You read my mind. You read my mind. Please, and Adam Silver, kick out Roger Goodell and take over the NFL.
Bud Selig.
Bud Selig is not horrible. He has done a terrific job, but
Right.
your time is coming, and give it to this man.
I will never like, and I'll go off on a tangent. I will never agree and or like an MLB commissioner as long as Pete Rose has not received an official pardon.
Send that man to the Hall of Fame. Give him what he deserves. He
I don't
He
care.
bet on himself to win.
I don't care what baseball commissioner does what for the game. As long as Pete Rose is not in the Baseball Hall of Fame, you are a bad commissioner. And I said what I said. That's a fucking quote.
Ooh, that was the first I said what I said of the fucking New Year.
Oh yeah, boy. Anyway, we gotta move on.
Yeah. Next up, with the NBA still going on, Steph Curry lost his goddamn mind. 62 points against Portland.
Yeah.
He started off really slow this season.
Right.
Obviously, Clay's still out. The team
Sure.
is starting to learn with their players they got.
Basketball is a marathon, not a sprint.
Exactly. And people were trying to say that this, and I'm going to say it now, this Hall of Fame point guard can't do what he do. And so he goes out.
Right.
And he cues the Michael Jordan meme and says, I take this shit personally.
Yeah.
So I'm going to take a poop on your head.
Yeah, he did.
And I did.
And I took that personally.
Mm-hmm. And he said what he said.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, I can't let you go for long because we are running late on time, but do your thing.
Now, with the NBA, everyone knows I am a huge Knicks fan, and I am riding this wave right now. Tom Thibodeau has changed this team. They are playing fierce. They are playing hungry. They are playing defense.
Are you not
Defense.
concerned?
Something that most teams don't do in this league anymore. They literally just beat the Pacers the other night by playing defense. They got the key block that led to a fast break dunk that led to the win.
You literally sound like me every April after the NFL draft. Are you not concerned at all with this unbridled hope that you are experiencing the New York Knicks?
I'm not saying they're going off to win the NBA title.
Okay. I'm not trying to drag you down.
No.
I'm concerned about your mental health as a friend.
They are young, they are hungry, and they have a face to them now. They have something about them now. They're not just a team going out there and don't know what they're doing. Okay. They're playing defense. They have a personality, and they're riding it. They are 3-3. They have beaten the reigning MVP Bucks and Giannis by 30 fucking points. I'm just saying.
It's
they're
like
3-3.
winning the first leg of a 4x4,
I
dude.
don't care.
They're still playing.
They are
a race
playing,
left.
but I like how they are playing. They are playing great, and I see them doing it. That was the best thing the Knicks did. Dolan actually did something right. Holy crap! You signed Leon Rose, and he came in and brought in Tom Thibodeau, and he's changing this team. I like it.
All right, now we got to switch to boxing. Talk to me about Ryan Garcia.
Over in the boxing world, everyone knows Spencer Jr.,
Sure.
and Terrence Crawford,
Sure.
and GGG, and Canelo, and these guys that are dominant and doing their things. And they won their matches this week.
Yeah.
And Spencer Jr. and Terrence Crawford are jabbing at each other for their match. They want to go at it against each other.
Saw that.
But this guy, Ryan Garcia, social media star, undefeated boxing. I've watched a few matches. Out of all the matches I've seen of all these boxers, this match last night, that kid's movement, wow.
That hook.
The way he dropped this kid.
With a body shot. It's
shot.
One thing to knock somebody out
like
on the
Rocky
jaw,
Balboa.
Right. It's one thing. So people don't understand, right? So there's a little nerve where your lower jaw connects with your skull. And that's why you wear a mouthpiece, right? Because it's literally an off button. So if you get hit the wrong way in the face, you get knocked out because you hit the off button. There's a thing in your body. Getting hit in the stomach, in the liver like that, and getting knocked out. I mean, he didn't pass out knocked out, but he got a TKO.
If you haven't seen it, look up the fight, watch that clip. The kid just still stood there for a second, and they waited and took a step back and just dropped to the canvas.
Yeah.
He even was mad at himself. He was like, "Fuck, I can't breathe."
When his body
shit
caught
hurts.
up, yup.
Like,
he was like, "Oh, I ate that," and then his body's like,
"No,
bruh,
you didn't.
did not."
Like, I'm hurting. He
It's like that
crippled
meme,
to
bruh.
the ground. The ref did the whole 10
Yeah.
count. He still could not get up.
No.
Wow.
My liver thanked me after watching that. I heard my liver and all the abuse that I give it say thank you for not putting me through that.
And then
I'm just an Olympic drinker.
And you know what's crazy? After that fucking match, I quickly ran real quick, looked up his Instagram, and saw one of his videos. His buddy's wearing like one of those, boxing
Sure.
chest
Yeah,
protectors.
yeah,
so
it's
they
like
can
a
work
pad,
on
a
body
pad.
shots.
Yeah.
Bro, he gives him like 8 body shots, and the kid was like, "I quit. I'm done. Like,
Not
this
about
shit
it.
hurts."
I'm not about it. I'm fat. I have my own padding. plus padding, I'm not about it. Not about it.
So watch out for this kid. He's 21-0 now.
There you go. And honestly, let's just keep rolling. Right around the world of the NFL, we'll move right into it. If you haven't watched, again, like we said, Week 17 has concluded.
Mm-hmm.
Derrick Henry, and
Is
let
a
me put
force.
some respect on that name.
Yeah.
King Henry has netted now over 2,000 yards rushing this season.
That's one of 8 players in all of NFL history.
Yes.
Last man to do it is still playing in the league. Can you name him?
I cannot.
AP, baby.
I was not prepared for that.
Adrian Peterson.
Was not prepared for that.
2,097 yards
Yeah.
in 2014,
Actually,
I believe.
I should have known that. He came right off of his ACL tear to turn around and come 9 yards short of the record. I do remember that, and I'm very
and he
disappointed
missed
in
it
myself.
on a touchdown run, I think it was.
Yep, I'm very upset that that didn't come to mind because I knew that. But yeah, I mean, if you've watched Henry run, so it makes sense for
No
players.
one wants to hit him. No one wants to tackle him.
Right, and it makes sense for players like AP or like Bo Jackson or these. Not that they're smaller guys that can't hit you, but they are more speed backs. You recognize them for their cuts and their running ability. And I'm not saying Derrick Henry can't cut, but Jesus, he does it by running through you. I apologize for not
okay.
looking up the yards after contact, but my God,
His 52-yard run that he had yesterday. Watch the play from start to finish. From when Tannehill says hike, he hits the hole, and everyone looked like if you turned on a light in Section 8 housing and the roaches were running away because no one wanted to hit him, and then ran behind him, kind of gingerly slowing,
Right,
trying to
like,
show their
I
effort
don't
that I'm
wanna
trying to
catch
get him.
Right. Well, here's the thing. Last year in the playoffs against the Ravens, he made Earl Thomas run the other way and use him as a blocker. And then this season, right, like we all made fun of Earl Thomas, you're a coward, you're a pussy, you
but-
can't hit him. And then this season, people out here making dumbass business decisions trying to tackle him and
They're
getting
coming down,
buried
becoming
on
memes.
national television. Like, Jesus.
I think he had a world record of stiff arms should be recorded.
Should
be recorded.
That needs to be a record, yes. And honestly, I'm willing to bet you that 1,500 yards or more are yards after first contact for him.
Okay, so you also know with him now surpassing 2K, he is a Triple Crown holder. He has the lead in rushing yards, carries, and NFL rushing touchdowns with 17.
That makes sense.
He's a Triple Crown holder this year.
I can see it. And we'll get into whether we think he'll win an award later or not. And then we've got Mike Evans, who comes out and scores
Quietly.
Yep, he has 7 straight seasons of over 1,000 yards receiving each, and then immediately goes out on an injury.
Dude, did you see that play? He
I did.
hyperextended.
Yeah, that
his
was
knee.
the diagnosis.
Hopefully nothing tore,
Right.
maybe a strain.
Right. They're gonna need him for the playoffs.
I think he's fine for next week.
Sure.
If not, I think they're still okay because one, Bucks are playing. What's that team that doesn't have a name? And two, Antonio Brown, like you said, has
sleep on
been
them.
fucking blowing up.
Yeah.
And Antonio Brown
3 straight games
easily
for the touchdown.
hold it down.
I get it. And then we've got Justin Jefferson
My
setting
man.
a rookie record for receiving yards
My
in the
man.
Super Bowl era, not including just the AFL, just in the Super Bowl era, but still with 1,278 yards, and also ties OBJ as a rookie with 7 100-yard games this season. That means almost half of his games played, he has gone off.
I just want to say that I have the man, and I believed in the man in fantasy football. I drafted you from day one, man.
True that.
And you've been a starter in my lineup since like week 3.
Unwavering.
And you're looking at the champ.
All right, can
So
we get
thank
into
you.
that in the degenerates, please,
I'm
sir?
just saying. I
Sir.
said what I said.
Sir.
I said what I said.
So that's all we have for Around the NFL news. I know that there's other things, but like I said, we're going to get into the playoff seeding and our predictions here shortly. We're going to grab a beer, and do some more chit chatting. And
you should grab a beer.
You should grab a beer. It'll be like 10 seconds, but
Yeah.
we'll be back. So on Saturday at 1 p.m., because we've got 3 games each day, which makes me super happy. That's the nice part about the playoffs. Saturday, 1 p.m., we've got the 7th.
It still throws me off.
Yeah.
The Saturday games, they still throw me off.
For sure. We've got the 7th-seeded Colts versus the 2nd-seed Bills, which
I like this
sounds
matchup.
weird to say. Yeah.
I like the matchup though. Like even the Colts at 7. Yeah, they're 7, but
Right.
their defense is top 5.
They've got a great defense. Yeah, it's going to be a good game.
Phillip Rivers earned his spot finally in a good. Do they win?
I don't know. So my prediction is that the Bills win.
Oh, that's what I'm thinking.
But can I tell you, I will not be overtly surprised
If they pull it out?
If the Colts pull it out. I think the Colts probably have a 40% chance to win. So again, I'm staying with the Bills, but
I mean, it's a battle of 2 great defenses,
Yeah.
which both are steamrolling right now.
If the Colts can shut down
The Bills
Josh
have a
Allen,
better offense, though.
yeah, they do. If the Colts can contain Allen and keep him in the pocket, I think that's a key to victory.
But then you keep him in the pocket, and he's throwing to Stephon Diggs,
Sure.
Cole Beasley,
Sure, yeah, Cole Beasley, who has had a quiet but amazing year.
a career year.
Yeah, and I understand that, and I'm not saying that shutting his run game down is ultimately, that's the 100% chance way to win. But not having to worry about Josh Allen's leg allows you to get into more nickel and dime packages.
I also think Phillip Rivers needs to go out there and play turnover-less football.
Yeah, he needs to have a career game. As long as you
do not turn over the ball, you have a chance of winning.
Agreed.
You cannot let that defense, because if that defense gets a turnover, there's a 75% chance they're scoring either on that turnover or that next drive.
Sure. No, for sure. I definitely agree that winning the turnover battle will be the key for the Colts. But overall, I'm taking the Bills.
Yeah. And I've been riding them heavy all season.
Yeah, and it's hard. It's hard. I'm happy for Bills Mafia. It's hard as a Jets fan.
Hey, you know what? Gotta give it to them.
No, they've played.
They're
good
New
football.
York, and they're standing on it that they're still New York too.
Yeah. And then on Sunday, 1 p.m., we've got the 6th seed Ravens.
Quickly, and Governor Cuomo approved about 7,000 fans for the Bills playoff games.
But the real question is, how many tables are approved in Orchard Park?
They still ban tailgating.
Bullshit. I call bullshit.
But I still think people just come in with a table and set that shit up inside and just break a table.
You can't stop the Bills Mafia. and if any Bills players or coaches, team members listen to this, if a touchdown is scored and no celebration with a table happens, I'm disappointed.
Yes.
I want to see that as an NFL celebration.
Diggs, I'm about to say, Diggs should have one already set in the end zone, so when he runs into it, he's just swan diving into it.
Sunday 1 p.m. 6th seed Ravens, 3rd seed Titans.
Who do you got?
Ooh,
this is another pretty good matchup.
I've got the Titans.
You think this is actually a battle of the matchup. This is a rematch of them last year to see who goes into the AFC Championship.
Yeah. And I've got the Titans this time. I think
I'm riding you with the Titans. Yeah.
They've played. Everybody on that team has played career years. Ryan Tannehill has
played amazing.
Yeah, I mean, Ryan Tannehill doesn't have numbers, right? And he never will. He's not that kind of quarterback. But he hasn't turned the ball over.
He quietly does.
Making good throws. He is allowing his run game to win. And
his
good luck on the
his completion percentage is actually one of the top in the leagues.
Yeah, because it's smart coaching. They're not putting him in positions
over 3,500 yards.
Right.
And his TD to turnover ratio is what it should be.
Yeah, and I like the Ravens.
And then you have the workhorse in King Henry.
Right, exactly. And I like the Ravens, but I think they're too hot and cold. I think they're too flashy for me.
I think they're too predictable.
See, I disagree with that.
Everyone, a 11-man blind squad defense can go out there and stop Lamar Jackson's throwing game. All you got to do is focus on the run game.
See, I don't know. I still think Lamar
He
Jackson's
won this
dangerous
last
in
game
the
with
pocket.
18 passes.
Fair
11
enough.
completed.
Fair enough.
They ran for 400 yards.
No, and I get you there. I get you. And overall, I don't disagree that it's not difficult to stop the Ravens. When they're hot, they're super hot, but the problem is they get streaky.
Yeah.
Whereas the Titans are just consistently pounding
force.
and grinding and winning. You know, so I've got the Titans. My notes say the 5th seed Browns versus the 4th seed Browns, but really it's the 5th seed Steelers
I didn't
versus the
even
4th
catch
seed,
that.
or 5th seed Browns versus the 4th seed Steelers at
Yeah.
Sunday at 8:15, which, as we all know, is really going
It's
to
a
be
rematch
8:40.
again of this week 17,
man.
which was a battle. Actually, the Browns played more than the scored. They allowed the Steelers to come back.
Right, which is crazy because it was Mason Rudolph. It
Yeah.
was second strings. I think the Steelers take this. Browns are too streaky for me.
Yeah, it's a whole different ball game
Right.
when it comes to playoffs. And
Right.
playoffs,
Right.
I love it.
It's the only thing that goes through my fucking head.
And Big Ben knows playoffs.
Right.
He has rings.
Right.
And it's just gonna fuel him a little bit more that it's a divisional game.
Right.
And Baker really might think he has a shot. Which
The Browns
I'm not
can
saying
have
they
a shot.
don't.
Right.
I'm not saying they don't, but Big Ben's gonna show why
Right.
he has a playoff career
Right.
record that he does.
And I agree with you. The Browns do have a shot. Again, I think this is another 60-40 game. 60% Steelers,
Oh,
40%
yeah.
Browns. I think the Browns have a shot. For me, it just comes down to the Browns are too streaky. And I know towards the end of the season, the Steelers got cold, which is a dangerous thing. But experience, like you just mentioned, experience is on the side of the Steelers. In coaching, in players, in every way, shape, and form. So I have to take the Steelers in this. So now we'll move over to the NFC. So I forgot to mention the Chiefs have a first round bye in the AFC,
Which is
obvious.
shy. I mean, I know a lot of players weren't playing, but for them to lose to the Chargers, that kind of threw me a little bit.
Well, the Chargers took them to OT the first time they played, and they had all their starters. So I can't say I was surprised. I can't say I was surprised, but they have the first round bye, so they'll play in the divisional matchup, and I think they'll win. But that's for next week. The NFC, the Packers have the first round bye. Not shocked there. Aaron Rodgers has just lost his mind this
for
year.
any win.
Yeah.
Like, they were making sure they were solidifying
Yeah.
that first. My buddy hit me up and was like, hey, I'm placing some bets. Should I was like, bet on the Packers.
Easy.
And he was like, you sure? Like, it's not a game they need. I was like, are you kidding me?
It doesn't matter.
They need that game. If they don't win that game and the Saints win, they're flip-flopping seeding.
Right. Yeah, and who doesn't want a first round bye?
And who doesn't in Lambeau Field?
Right, yeah, and then to play the
Ooh.
rest of your games at home, for sure. So then at Sunday, 4:40, we have the 7th-seeded Bears, who snuck in, versus the 2-seed Saints.
Trubisky has been... I'm not writing... Don't look at me like that. I'm not writing Trubisky. I'm just saying his last few games have been impressive, and he has been doing what they thought he might be able to do, and that's how they snuck in. They pulled out wins.
I want you to say, right here and right now, that Mitchell Trubisky beats Drew Brees. Then shut up.
Wow.
No, but I see what you're saying. Trubisky did play good games towards the end of the season. It's what allowed the Bears to get in. It's all a moot point because the Saints are going to go to the NFC Championship to choke like they normally do. But yes, the Saints win this one, and it's like 9-10 for me. I don't think that the Bears can even... And the reason I'm only giving them 10% in the first place is because it's the playoffs and weird things happen.
The only reason I would agree with you on that 10% is if that 10% means Kamara didn't pass COVID protocol and he's out.
Ooh, right. That's a
the
storyline.
only way I see them somehow magically winning the game is that Kamara wasn't there to begin with.
That's a storyline that I completely forgot about. Is that Kamara
he
missed
got
the
the
last game? The whole running back.
squad.
Yeah. I forgot about that. Even still, I just don't think the Bears. You don't even have to let. They could line up in a 0 set for the Saints the entire game and still win.
Honestly, it just should have been Packers and Saints first round buys.
Yeah. Well, this year with the new.
That's what it should have been.
So then at Saturday 4:40, we've got the 6th-seeded Rams going into Seattle to play the Seahawks.
I like the matchup because they're both, like you mentioned early, how the other teams are now sometimes streaky. These are two streaky teams later on in the season.
Agreed.
Don't know what they're gonna do.
This is hard. I want to say the Seahawks, but this is a 50-50 game.
Both defenses are supposed to be top 5 defenses, but then end up showing up some days looking like a fucking ranked 31st team defense.
Sure, and both offenses are air raid, high flying offenses, but again, get super duper streaky.
Yo, Lockett, he drops 50 points in fantasy every week, bro.
My God, he's never gonna live that down, is he?
Nah, it's always gonna be a stinger.
That's gonna be my my fantasy name next year. Lockett for 50.
That means you gotta draft him.
It's gonna be ignorant. Anyway, so no, this is a 50-50 game for me.
I'm going to give it to the Seahawks.
Same home field advantage is the reason for
I say that 12th invisible 12th man helps. I think Russell Wilson and DK Metcalf connect.
Yeah.
And I think Jamal Adams shows up.
Quite but good year over in the Seahawks for him. Yeah, in all honesty, I give it to the Seahawks, I guess because of history. And simply because they're playing in Seattle. I might give it to the Rams if they were playing in LA. But they're not. So then we have a thing that pisses me off in the NFL. The Bucks, the 5th seed Bucks, have to go into the 7-9 4th seed Washington football team. To play
Seahawks years ago were 7-9.
I know,
and made the playoffs.
It pissed me off then, and I watched the Falcons do the same thing. It pisses me off that losing teams win their division and then get to host a home game.
I'm just mad that the Bucks aren't coming into New York. That's what gets me mad.
Watch the Giants play Giants killer. Well,
no, the Giants should have made it. We'll get to those goddamn fucking Eagles.
Well, yeah,
bro.
We'll talk about how they fucked that up. But that would have been nice to see Brady come in and lose in the Meadowlands.
Did you see Chase Young after the win last night? He's running off the field saying, "I want Tom Brady. I'm coming for you, Tom Brady."
I can't wait to watch So you're going to hate me, and everybody else will. And that's fine, because one of the stand-alls on this show is I said what I said, and I'm doing it now. I'm taking Washington. I'm taking the Washington football team here, and I'll even go one step further. I'm taking Washington next week, and I don't care who the hell they play, and I'm putting Washington in the NFC conference in the championship.
Are you doing
standing
that?
On it.
You're doing
I'm
that.
standing on it because Washington's winning this week, and then I'll take them again next week. Because Montez Sweat
Who would they play
and Chase
next
Young.
week? They would play...
It don't matter. It don't matter if they play the Packers. I don't care. They wouldn't play the Packers. There is a scenario in which case they would play the Packers. If the Saints, Seahawks, and Washington all win, they'd have to go to Green Bay, and I would still take the Washington football team. I'm taking them. I'm saying Washington beats the brakes off of Brady because A, that was a good alliteration, and B, Brady has proven that if you can get in his face quick, fast, and in a hurry, he breaks down like a little girl, and I think Chase Young and Montez Sweat can do that. It's a feel-good story, too.
You done?
Maybe.
Okay, so, I see where you're going against the Bucks, because Chase, that defense can get to Tom Brady.
4th in the league?
And can get turnovers, and score on turnovers. I can see them beating the Bucks. Would I bet on that? No. I would still say I would say the Bucks win. I'm saying the Bucks win.
Okay.
But I see your argument of how they can win this matchup. Now, to win 2 games in a row, I don't see them going into Seattle, going into I don't see them going for any of them. I don't see the Rams coming into I don't see any of those other teams, whoever wins those games, going against what the F team over here. And
That's how I read it every time. WTF.
And yeah, and win and them winning. No.
I'm telling you, it's a feel-good story. I think they are rallying heavily behind Ron Rivera. I think they're rallying heavily behind Alex
is
Smith.
the mind being. He's obviously the mind behind it. He
Sure.
knows. He's literally like picking the player up and putting him in the position in the field exactly where he needs to be at that moment in time.
It's hard for me, although they barely won against an Eagles who tried to lose that game, and we'll talk about that here in a minute. I still take Washington. The playoffs are a different season, man. The playoffs are a completely different season. And I like Washington in that season.
Bro, but you got Tom Brady, who has 6 rings and is technically Mr. Playoff, with Antonio Brown, Mike Evans, and Godwin, and Gronk.
That's if Evans is healthy.
Yeah,
Gronk,
I'm
let's
telling
not
you,
pretend
Antonio
Gronk
Brown's-
has been stellar.
He's played very good, the 2 out of his last 3 games. But Antonio Brown's a whole different ball game now. And he's only been playing better and better and better and better.
I agree.
And now you're throwing him in the playoffs.
Agreed.
Playoffs?
Right. I agree.
You talk about playoffs?
I agree with you. I'm still taking Washington. In a 60-40 matchup for me. I'm taking Washington. All right. In a 59... Or no, 49-51.
Cut it out. Shut up.
So that's all we have for that's playoff matchups and predictions. Let us know, like I said before, breaking down the tape at yahoo.com. Feel free to comment. Let us know what you guys think. Tell me why I'm right, because I am a narcissist and I want to hear the reasons that I'm right.
Yeah, I do. I'm not gonna lie. I bet on the Bucks to win.
If I'm a betting man, I agree.
But I hope Chase Young, like you said, beats the fucking brakes off of Tom Brady. Yeah. Like, shakes him up to the point that the man is contemplating retirement next season.
Chase Young gets 3 sacks, an interception, and a forced fumble.
I will counter you and say 3 sacks, 1 strip sack for a fumble.
Okay.
And I call it at that.
Okay, no, that's fair. The interception is a little
extra
ballsy for me. But
I would contemplate.
It's the new man cave.
I would contemplate that strip sack to a fumble return.
You think he recovers his own?
I mean, he's done it before.
He's a big
That
dude.
man is nasty.
Again,
Yo, he's
especially
nasty.
if I'm playing offense, right? Like if I'm a 5'11", $189 running back, I see Chase Young pick that football up, I'm making a lot of business decisions. I'm not Boston Scott gonna go hawk that man down. I'm gonna do that like fat man shoulder jump where I'm like pretending to run, but I'm really not. It just looks like it.
King Henry and Prince Young.
Yeah. Yo! I like it. Anyway, that's all we have. Honestly, let's just roll into the year's awards.
Your MVP. Oh,
yes.
Let's go. And you want to start with
as we covered the other day.
You like Krabby Patties, don't you?
Shut up. So stupid.
I saw what I said.
MVP is going to Aaron Rodgers.
Hands down.
The only one, and I'm like completely retracting.
It only solidified him more because Patty Mahomes didn't play his game.
Sure, and I'm completely like backpedaling on an entire season of defending Patrick Mahomes. I think the only one that we could be sleeping on here is Josh Allen.
Like I said, Patty Mahomes will always have the stats to be in the race of MVP. It's not the fact that he shouldn't win MVP. It's the fact that he is not the most valuable player on his team this season.
That's honestly where you caught me. That is where you convinced me. Yeah. No, I agree with you.
That team is so stacked that there is no MVP on that team.
No, and
last year, yeah, because he's a kid no one thought of, blew up, showed up, and proved it.
Right.
Over the last 2 seasons when he took the starting job and became and won MVP and then came the next season and won a Super Bowl. He showed it, but there's that team. This year, Aaron Rodgers just showed it day in and day out.
Agreed.
It came down to the last game where he needed to play this game. Patty Mahomes could sit out the game.
Could sit out like the last 3 weeks. Right.
He had to play out the entire 17-week season. He needed the 17th week's win, and he went out, threw for fucking a million yards and a million TDs.
No, I get you. And like I said, and you've convinced me. You've won. I lost on Patrick Mahomes. The only one that I would say is a close argument.
You're right on sleeping on Josh Allen.
You know, I don't know if you could plug another player into that system. Because, right, like you've said, that's the measurement here for most valuable player, in the NFL.
And if
Can
it
you
wasn't,
plug
and if
another
Aaron
player
Rodgers
into that?
didn't play the way he played this season,
Right.
I would completely agree that the battle would be against Josh Allen and Patty Mahomes.
Yeah, no, I agree with
And
you.
I think Patty Mahomes will pull it out, but Josh Allen definitely.
I think Josh Allen will finish second in voting. Because of the very thing that we've talked about. Is if you plug...
What, this year?
Yeah, I think it's going to be Aaron Rodgers, Josh Allen second. I told you, I'm retracting an entire season's worth of arguments. Yeah. Shut up.
I mean, I'm not fighting you on it. I still think it will be Rodgers, Patty Mahomes, and I think Josh Allen will be third.
Okay. I mean,
Possibly
I'm not mad
third
at that
because
either.
you gotta say King Henry is making his argument for MVP.
No, that's fair.
He is making his argument,
No,
and
that's
he's
fair.
going to be probably the only other player other than outside of QB
Right.
in that talk.
That's fair. That's fair. I can see him
Once
getting
you
a fair
once
amount
you
of
clips 2K, you have to be in talk for MVP.
Well, that's actually a great thing that we bring up because I think he's going to win Offensive Player of the Year. King Henry, to be clear. I
Yes.
think Derrick Henry wins Offensive Player of the Year. Not so much MVP, just because of Aaron Rodgers and then Josh Allen being in my mind second. I think he wins Offensive Player of the Year, though, King Henry.
I think they give it to King Henry, but my personal choice, which I still think will come in second place to King Henry if they do give it to him,
Sure.
is Justin Jefferson.
I can see that, too. I would
That
not be
man,
mad.
I mean, he's, as a rookie, broke the record during Super Bowl era, like we mentioned earlier, receiving
Is
yards.
mentioned with Anquan Bolden, Randy Moss. I mean,
he's done something that not even Jerry Rice, Randy Moss, T.O., none of those guys have done.
7 games with 100-plus receiving yards.
And I think if
And he's
King
got
Henry
Kirk
doesn't-
Cousins throwing to him.
He throws for a lot of yards. He's just a shitty quarterback. He just throws for a lot of fucking yards.
That's a weird-ass statement,
It's
isn't
like
it?
fucking Winston. He throws for a lot of yards and TDs, but he also throws a lot of
Interceptions. Yeah, no, fair point.
Kirk Cousins just throws a lot of less in interceptions. He's like a
He
little.
just throws ducks.
He's
Yeah.
like the father of Winston. But yeah, my argument would be Justin Jefferson, if not King Henry.
All right, and I can see the argument, but it's just
But
it's
I
hard
think-
for me to
I
not
think,
give it to King Henry.
Yeah, like I said, 2K, you eclipse 2K.
Yeah, it's almost automatically
It's
yours.
given.
Defensive Player of the Year, I originally said Aaron Donald because
Which-
it's an easy pick.
We sat down before we started recording and we were breaking our heads on this, and we're like, there's literally no one that stands out, so who do you give it to? And it has to be Darnold.
But I say T.J. Watt. I gave it some thought, and I'm recanting my Aaron Donald, although it is an easy pick. And
Yeah.
I'm saying T.J. Watt. T.J. Watt, I think, has just been hyper instrumental in what the Steelers do.
When you didn't even tell me TJ Watt before you started, you typed it in first, and I just looked and I said, huh.
I mean,
I can agree. I mean,
he's got sacks, interceptions. I mean,
he's
I lamented
easily
not having the stats,
MVP of the Steelers defense.
yeah, for sure. And that's a stacked defense with Minka Fitzpatrick back there at safety.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to be blown away if Aaron Donald wins it. But I also...
It'd be nice
if
someone else wins it.
I think TJ Watt will get it over Donald. I just do.
I think even if TJ doesn't win it this year, he wins one within the next 2 or 3 seasons, possibly more than one.
Fair point.
And it's just going to solidify that Watt family. There's no way that the Watt family does not have Defensive Player of the Year running through the whole.
Oh, yeah.
There's no way.
Yeah, they're ridiculous. That whole family. Can you imagine
There's no
being
way.
their parents? Producing 3 NFL players?
I'm telling you,
That's
he's
absurd.
going to. I can see that. I like that pick.
So now we got to bring it back to Offensive Rookie of the Year, and this is where I will say Justin Jefferson, and unanimously so. I think Justin Jefferson just cleans house, takes every vote possible. You just can't convince me otherwise.
Well, the only reason why you said it unanimous is because I said he should win it unanimously.
Correct.
But if there was going to be one person to put up a fight against this guy for this award,
I agree.
it would be that mini bad man on the Chargers.
Herbert. Yeah. No, I can see Justin Herbert putting up a fight. And if Joe Burrow didn't get hurt, we're playing a whole lot of what ifs here.
Yeah.
But I just think to mention a rookie receiver with the likes of Randy Moss and Anquan Bolden, that's all you need to tell me.
Just for him to put up, I think Justin Jefferson wins it. I doubt it'll be unanimous. I think he wins it by a long shot. It's not going to be unanimous because someone always fucks that up.
Sure. There's always got to be that
There's always got to be that one guy. And I think that vote will go to Herbert.
Right.
Like you said, Joe Burrow could have been a what if. But what if Herbert would have started the whole season? That 3 weeks he missed?
It's a dangerous what if game because, again, I can turn around and tell you what if Joe Burrow played the whole season. You know, it's a dangerous what if game, but ipso facto, Justin Jefferson wins in my mind.
So should we skip this next award because it's going to be unanimous?
Yeah, again, we're not going to spend any time on this other than saying Defensive Rookie of the Year is Prince Young.
Prince Young?
Yeah.
Speak correctly?
My apologies. Prince Young.
We said what we said, now it's solidified?
Yeah, there's no argument here. I'd love to see anybody trying to argue with me on this. It's Chase Young.
There's no, yeah. I mean, he's the only rookie on defense I've even paid attention to.
Yeah. And then I accidentally switched these in my notes, so we'll do Coach of the Year, Ron Rivera.
I see.
Yeah, I think Ron Rivera wins Coach of the Year. I mean, having battled through cancer, coming to the Washington
IVs
football
during
team,
some of the games during halftime.
Right, and I mean, I'll even stay away from the feel-good story of battling through cancer and coaching his team to a playoff spot. I'll just talk about what he's done for Washington on the football field, right? So you're coming from this garbage team, and for most of the season they were, battling back and forth between an aged, injured veteran and a young, unproven, apparently idiot rookie, and battles through terrible ownership, a name change, all of this hype.
A name change. They didn't even change the name. They just
a
dropped
name
it.
Loss. All of this negative press and negative hype, and they're sitting at the 4th seed. A losing record, but a playoff.
I mean, he
all the
won
same.
his division, and
that's all you have to do. You
I
just
always
have to win 6 games a season.
I don't care. I stand by it. If you win your division, you earn your seed. Yep. I don't care what your record is. That is stronger than any record. Or you win your division, you earned your spot.
The minimum requirement to make the playoffs is 6 and 10. You must win 6 games, and those 6 games are against division opponents. He didn't win all 6, but he won enough to get in and control his fate in the last game. He didn't need help. Washington football team controlled their own fate, winning it,
and they went out and did what they had to do.
Mm-hmm. So,
regardless of the fact of what should have happened,
I'm gonna take Ron Rivera.
I would agree on you 100%, but I won't. I firmly believe Ron Rivera has all the credentials and everything this season to win it. I think he'll be in the top 3 coaches in the talks to win it.
Sure.
My personal pick is Kevin Stefanski over in the Browns.
I don't think it's a terrible pick.
He's changed that organization.
Sure.
Ups and downs, some what ifs and what here and there. But from going winless to almost winless to now 11-5.
Right. Yeah, not winning your division, but making the playoffs.
Making the playoffs, beating the Steelers, showing a statement.
Mm-hmm.
You know, regardless what happens.
Losing your top receiver.
Regardless what happens. Losing your top receiver and switching what happens if. Let's play a big what if. OBJ plays the whole season.
They don't win anything.
I don't think they make the playoffs.
Nope.
I think they go 6-10.
We said it when he got injured, and it played out. Losing
I said. They
OBJ
go 6-10.
was the best thing that happened to them.
They go 6-10. But, and regardless what they do in the playoff game, win, lose, whatever, the award doesn't go out for what you do in the playoffs.
Right.
People forget that.
Right.
Because the awards don't go out till after the playoffs are over.
Correct.
So people get skewed, and they're like, "Oh, this
But
guy
they
should
did
get
that right.
No,
It's just
season.
regular season.
And Kevin Stefanski changed that system.
I completely understand. My only counter to that for why Ron Rivera should get it is Ron Rivera won his division.
Okay.
All of the same arguments that you're making for Stefanski are the same arguments for Rivera. The difference being, Rivera won his division. One could make a lot of allowances for the kind of division they have to play in.
That's why I didn't even. I just looked down.
No, I get it. And then comeback player of the year again. I'm not going to spend time on
Unanimous.
it. It's Alex Smith.
I mean,
Dude was knocking on death's door
for real.
And here we are. Right, exactly. We make references here.
If you don't get it, like, dude,
doom
like,
on you.
You live under a rock.
Facts. And he's coming out here, and no, Alex Smith will never make crazy things.
He made the playoffs.
And made the playoffs.
He won his division.
Alex Smith. Through
he wins the
injury.
Super Bowl? What? No, stop. He beats Aaron Rodgers? What?
I'm putting them in the NFC Championship.
He beats Patty Mahomes?
Chill. Chill, sir. But no, it's Alex Smith. And, I mean, you can make an argument maybe for Ben Roethlisberger, but it's Alex Smith.
No.
It's Alex Smith.
If Alex Smith didn't play the season, it would be between maybe Big Ben and...
I think Ben would have it on a lock. But for me, it's Alex Smith. Having that injury that you had last year, never supposed to play football again, might have died, and here we come out to win his division.
And play great over his... I mean...
It was an up and down season for him, but, he won. It's all that matters. So, let us know what you guys think. I'm going to plug it again, breaking down the tape at yahoo.com.
Send in what you think your award winners are.
We'd love to hear
who you think are going to your playoff matchup predictions.
Mm-hmm. We're going to take a short break, and then we'll be back with the fucking Eagles.
Joe, those guys.
Through that fucking game. And there's no one that can convince me otherwise. Like, they gave up. They gave up.
I looked at Christy, and I was like, there's no way in hell they don't fire Doug Peterson. No. She was like, oh, but why? He's not a bad coach. He's a really good... I said, yes. He is, on paper, a really good coach.
He won a Super Bowl.
But he has lost that locker room.
Yep.
He has lost that franchise. He has lost that city.
Yep.
He has been indecisive, bad play calling, doesn't know who his QB is from week 1 to week 2 to week 3. Mm-hmm. Bad with social media, bad with the press. Every move he has made in Philly is just wrong.
Yeah.
I think his best bet is to go somewhere else.
And I was reading a lot of reports before the game that they were talking about contract extensions. And I was like, all right, I mean,
There's
maybe not the best
way.
thing in the world.
No way he stays in Philly.
And they jumped from, like, the 9th pick to the 6th pick.
Now,
losing this game. Everyone's
who
like,
cares?
oh, well,
By the 6th pick, no one cares.
Right, and everyone's like, oh, well, they're moving up in the draft pick. No one was blaming the Jets when they were tanking for Trevor, all of this shit. Well, first of all,
tanking for Trevor when you're 0-13 already?
Right. Going for the number 1 pick overall is different than going from the 9th to the 6th. Let's not pretend this is some big jump here. It's not 32nd to 6th. It is 9th to 6th. Period. End of story. Like, and
you're going against a divisional opponent with the chance to ruin their playoff hopes.
Right.
Granted, you're giving it to another divisional opponent, but that's in Ann Arbor. But you had your chance to ruin their shit too.
Right.
Those matches are done.
Right.
You have a chance now to ruin their hopes.
Mm-hmm. And it's one thing if you start the game with Nate Sudfeld. If they had started the game with Nate Sudfeld...
I get it.
This would not be a topic. We would have ended 5 minutes ago. And this is not a topic. But the fact that you come out there with Jalen Hurts and
who's supposed to be the parent
game
of Carson Wentz, because it looks like Carson Wentz is out.
Yep.
And he's supposed to be the starter, but
and
now
Hurts
you're saying...
wasn't playing a bad game.
I mean,
he made a couple of mistakes.
But he's the only reason why you were in the game. Two rushing TDs.
Exactly. And then all of a sudden...
You're down 3.
Right. All of a sudden, you're like, let's Let's just change.
Let's give this guy reps because he's been on the team for 4 years.
Bruh.
And let's, trophy for everyone. You know what it is?
Bruh. He's been on... Let's get him some game time reps. What kind of Bush League...
If you wanted to give that man reps, he had 4 years to
Bro.
get them reps.
And I'm not trying to shit on Nate Sudfeld. I'm sorry, Nate, but you're going to catch a lot of hell right now. Who the fuck is Nate Sudfeld?
Bro, where were you throwing? You threw a fucking punt to the opposite team.
Bro, this is legitimately like saying, hey, I'm sorry, the Little League mandates, this Pop Warner League mandates that everybody gets 4 plays, so Nate Sudfeld has to be in because he's mandated 4 plays. You know what I mean? Like what kind of Bush League Pop Warner? And then, to have the balls in front of the media to say and defend yourself and say, I stand by my decision. We were losing anyway, and we wanted to get him some reps.
And I fought for the win. I was fighting for the win.
George Bush has had a shoe thrown at him for less. I wish a reporter threw their fucking mic at you. Holy
There's
shit.
no way that man stays in Philly.
I know we're supposed to stop cursing, but this is making me mad.
Mad.
Oh my god. And that, you know what? It pisses me off is Pete Rose is banned from the MLB for far less
betting
than
on himself to win!
you
Something that you weren't obviously trying to do.
And you have this man legitimately the last game of the season. This is how we end a COVID-19 2020 season at week 17.
And this is
Divisional
nothing
matchup,
on Washington.
Crazy. No, Washington has no culpability in this. They went out and played football. But to end the week 17 on a great game, because originally looking at that matchup, it's like, Washington and the Eagles.
I thought Eagles
but
had
then
it.
there's like a great fucking
Eagles were gonna
storyline
take that.
here. And then
I
you
bet
just
on the
out of
Eagles.
nowhere rob every NFL fan of my... I stopped paying attention. I started sending emails to people, and I stopped paying attention.
I was mad. I had picked them to win, and I firmly believe if Jalen Hurts would have stood in the game, they win.
Yeah,
They win the game.
Yeah, I'm obviously
And
fit to be
Giants,
tied.
being a Giants fan, would be in the playoffs.
Yeah. Yeah, and I would have much rather... Well, actually, I'm happy Washington's in. But it's neither here nor there. Again, it doesn't come down to Washington. It's the whole fact that on live national television, you all of a sudden decided to just
Randomly
throw it
take
away.
this guy out and throw the game.
Like I said, if you started Wentz, if you started Sudfeld, I'd get it.
I would get it even if you took Hurts out and you threw Wentz back in.
Right.
Well, apparently Wentz didn't even show up to the fucking game.
That blows. Like, I've got to know, Doug. What the? Are you does he not want to be part of Philly? Did he decide
Do you
at
even want to be part of
halftime?
the NFL?
Did he go into halftime and say, "Yo, fuck this, I'm retiring. This is how I'm gonna retire by getting fired"? Like, come on. Like, this is garbage. Like, and I'm. If you watch NCAA football, if you watch college football, there's this thing called the death penalty. So when a college gets so out of line and does something so egregious, they can actually lose their football team for a year and be disallowed from, like, having football equipment. Like, you don't get to practice, you don't get to recruit, you don't
even get to look at the stadium.
Facts.
You gotta walk with your hand up.
You gotta watch lax players go in there and play lacrosse and soccer. Like, you're not allowed to even think of the word football with a death penalty. I want 31 teams in the NFL next year. I want the Eagles to receive the death penalty, and Philadelphia and that trash can city to not have a football next. I am so mad. I said what I said. Fuck you, Philly fans. Y'all can come after me, and if you're not as mad as I'm mad, you're wrong.
I'm standing behind you.
Bro, I'm so mad. Like, as a football fan.
Philly's not just in an outrage right now.
Bro, my watch thinks I'm doing a workout. I'm losing my mind.
I know what Philly fans are like. I know Philly fans are, but they're diehard for their team.
They are.
They are not happy
Bro,
with
they
losing to Washington.
It's one thing if you went out there and lost and you played a hard game like you were playing for the first 2.5 quarters. Fine, it is what it is. But, oh my God! Like, this is worse than the Jets running a cover zero blitz against the Raiders to lose the game. Like, at least they didn't bench any starters. It was just a shitty-ass play.
They lost their
Like,
chance
if
of
the
a number
Eagles
one
called-
pick because they won.
If Doug Peterson was running, like, fucking 9 routes, fly routes the entire game to lose because you know you're not going to win that way, fine, whatever. But so blatantly, like, literally hold up a card and showed it to the camera and said, fuck this, I'm done. That's just disrespectful. It's disrespectful. I want at Roger Goodell.
He'll get a job next year.
Yeah, and the Jets. Oh my God, my blood pressure is up. I can hear my doctor calling. I am so mad right now. So mad. Alright, fuck the Eagles, bro. I'm so tired.
I mean, like I said, if the Eagles would have won, which is crazy, they still only lost by 6. The Giants would be in. The Giants balled out, shitted on the Cowboys.
And Tom Brady would have to come into the Meadowlands.
Into the Meadowlands,
great.
and which would be perfect because apparently the Giants is the only team that could beat Tom Brady in the playoffs. So that would have mean the Giants. I would have bet the Giants to beat Tom Brady and beat the next team.
I'm still taking Washington, but no, it's the Eagles. Legitimately, I have a smartwatch, and it thought I was doing a workout because I was losing my mind so bad. So after all of that is said and done, and still keeping to just barely over an hour, that's it. That is
episode 1.
That is episode 1 of the relaunch. That is the conclusion of week 17. Yeah, we said at the top of the hour, we're now brought to you by Dark Arrow Podcasts. I've been super excited. I can't wait to show you guys the pictures of what we've got going on. Hopefully we'll be on YouTube with our video here. We always have a blast drinking. Hopefully you guys are listening to us in some safe way. If you're drinking, awesome. I would have to listen to my voice drinking too. God, thank you I don't do the editing. So breaking down the tape at yahoo.com. Please email us. We would love to hear what you guys think. Like, comment, share on any of our socials, Instagram, Facebook. I'm trying to get better with being on Twitter. So look for that. Look for YouTube here in the future. TikTok, I'm on TikTok, breaking down the tape. Haven't made any videos yet, but we will be. I'm forcing Hector into making TikToks with me because I think they're fun and I'm a giant child. So next is the Degenerates, and we'll talk about that. So listen.
And how I'm the goddamn champ.
That needs to be edited out. No, I'm just kidding. But thank you guys for listening, and
we said what we said.
Said what we said.